Very recently, I went to meet with Ross Hardman, an ex-student of mine. I've been curious about him for a little while because it's probably 2 years since I taught him at the University of Winchester, but we've been in contact here and there over the last couple of years, and I've never actually managed to pin him down to having lessons. But I'm curious, and just very recently he launched his own website, and I wanted to go and talk to him about why he'd done that and to hear all the latest news from him.
Okay, so Ross, it's great to meet with you.
And to you.
You have been a bit elusive over the years, since whenever it was. That we first met.
2014.
Was
yes.
it really? Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm really pleased to have pinned you down a little bit. We have bumped into each other a couple of times in restaurants.
Yes.
Have we not?
I've been the waiter, you have been the London diner. Yes.
And I think actually on 2 occasions it was my daughter's birthday, my youngest daughter's birthday, I think in 1 year.
Oh yes.
We went to
yeah, of course.
one restaurant and then we went to another restaurant. Something like that. Anyway.
Can't help it. I'm here and there.
Yeah. So I'm really pleased that we've managed to catch up because I want you to tell me what has happened. How is life now since you left uni? What's happened in the last 2 years?
It's been everywhere. It's been a constant journey of working and dedicating myself to work, and then at the same time trying to juggle a vocal career alongside it. And it's very difficult to have a work rate and a pleasure rate alongside one another. And I've enjoyed it. I've really honed in on where I am work-wise. So now I've decided to put more time towards my singing ever since university. I did graduate with a 2-1, which made me very happy.
Good.
I was very, very grateful for my markers, but it was well worth it. It was a good experience.
Yeah, so when you say work, can you just define what you mean by work?
By work, I mean my restaurant work and my day job, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, alright, so that's great. So you graduated when?
I graduated in 2015
Okay.
in October, and with the upper second class honours.
Yeah.
And it was one of the best days of my life.
Yeah, quite a culmination of all that study. So here you are in Winchester still. Why have you decided to stay in Winchester?
I think the amount of developing I've done myself and setting up a home here in several different places around Winchester makes me treat it like home now. Hence why me and my partner have decided to live here for a further 2 years now.
Yeah.
Finding different places. This is our first proper after university flat, and I'm very happy with it. I feel quite proud.
Yeah, and so you should. It's very lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so life is good then.
Yeah.
It's just in a sort of transient phase where you're working to hopefully support yourself, and obviously Annie as well. She's working, but she's got other things coming into play, hasn't she? She wants to do a master's
in music therapy.
Yeah.
She wants to go the way of Roehampton, funnily enough, which is a good direction, close to London.
Yeah.
A lot more communication with those in the biz.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to be closer to London, but not exactly in it. It seems too hustle bustle for me.
Yeah.
So I think we're planning to move to Farnham.
Oh,
soon.
so my sister lives.
Really?
Yes.
Cracking. Oh, good.
Yeah.
I really like it around there. We drove
Yeah.
through once and it was stunning, and her direction is going to be my direction. So
Yeah.
we'll go together.
Good. And I'm really interested to know where singing started for you. I'm sure you have told me this, but I want you to tell me again.
Once before. When I was 6 or 7, I always sang in the car, as any young child would, when my mum and dad were showing me their passion for music and their likes and dislikes. And I started singing and thought I wanted to take it a bit further. And I even said to myself, can I sing with other people? So they put me into Kent County Junior Singers for my first young choir.
Yeah.
And I worked my way through those. I enjoyed every moment. I met loads of different teachers with different pedagogies, and the way that they taught was fantastic. One really sat with me, however, was my secondary school teacher, Mr. Hall. He was bonkers and always flailed his hands around and did this ridiculous thing in his head, but that was the thing that made him memorable, his charisma and his absolute confoundedness to music, and how he would just try loads of different things, and he encouraged me to do that as well. So that was in secondary school. After being in the choirs, I then performed as part of a jazz band, National Youth Jazz Orchestra, and also National Youth Choir of Great Britain eventually, after leaving secondary school, just before starting uni. That was a good part of my singing development.
Yeah.
And it's just stayed with me since I was young. I've always wanted to be part of an ensemble, part of a choir, and then eventually when I got my private tutoring when I was 14, 15, I wanted to sing proper solo performing pieces from Mozart and Haydn, and wanted to go into the opera and classical side of it more.
When I met you, it was a very interesting phase, I felt, because you presented me with this voice and quite a personality to go with it. I was told, when I was given like a breakdown of each student I would meet, that you were charming. And that,
Were you?
yes, you were charming, but also didn't always come through.
Mm-hmm.
So I sensed there was a little bit of a difficulty, maybe slightly at odds with the establishment,
Mm-hmm.
and desperately trying to keep it moving forward, but also saying, actually. So how did that affect your final year?
I saw exactly what I was going through and took a bit of a left turn. Instead of completely dwelling in the issues that I surrounded myself in and kept interfering with my studies, I completely obliterated them. I put them in a different room, and I came into university with a bright new perspective for third year. You met me at a point where I was obviously a little bit rogue. I wasn't enjoying every aspect of the teaching as well as my own personal development. I didn't really want to put all of that effort into it. I was a bit negative here and there, but I still loved to sing, I still loved to perform.
Yeah.
But I just didn't give it all of my best efforts at the time when you met me first. No.
But you see, that wasn't what it's probably why I've pursued you a bit over the last 2 years, is because I saw something else. The thing is, you have to have that real desire to do the singing thing, and it has to be almost like a given. You don't, oh, what shall I do? Let's do singing. It's like in your blood.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So you just decided to make it a positive experience.
Yes.
And grow from that.
Mm-hmm.
Another question I'm anxious to know about is that since I left, we've managed to stay in touch, however that's been, but you have contacted me a couple of times in a bid to try and further some sort of singing tuition, I guess. Why was that? Not necessarily about me, but this is about your desire.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I would be going over my repertoire for a performance that was coming up, or even just to touch up and see what songs I'd like to learn. And I would rehearse and I wouldn't feel like I was at my optimum level. So I would either try my hardest to rehearse that song until I knew it was the way that I was singing back at university. I had a great set of tutors for the university, so that kept me in a good flow of structure to my voice, my vocal folds, my actual instrument. But then I would try and get in contact with you, because I remember how we were in the lesson, and you did get through to me a lot more than some people did. When I had lessons with Amanda, they were fantastic. My head tutor Amanda was unbelievable, but she applied her own way of singing to everyone, and I felt that when I had 1 or 2 lessons with you, you got more out of me. I felt a change in my voice as well, which was incredible. So I did ask after university if we could have tutoring, but it always came down to me not catching up with the message or even the money.
It's the money.
It's
always the money. Yeah, it's really hard. I wanted just to get to that sort of nut of the question because that's what I think I saw. I thought, this guy wants to know more than just. He doesn't want his lessons to be like a glorified rehearsal. He really wants to know how it works. You know, that's what you're going to carry with you as you go forward.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I really hope so.
I think so. I mean, the thing is, you have to have faith in your ability. So, assuming then that you're on this trajectory, you want to learn more about the voice. Tell me a little bit about why you've launched your website. What you hope to get from that.
I hope to use it as a portfolio. I hope to let loads of individuals in the singing world see what I do and hopefully get me into several sides of work, whether it be my wedding fairs, because I'm currently attending several of those at the moment, trying to put my feet into several ponds in Kent, London, Hampshire. I love to do some tutoring, whether it be in workshops or even vocally, either gaining or giving, because I've always wanted to teach school children a little bit of singing here and there, but also as a bit of a memorabilia for me to know I've definitely come this far and I can keep adding to it and looking back and seeing where I've come from and then just totting up my experiences. It's really nice for me, it's quite gratifying, but it's not just for me, it's to show other people what I can do.
Certainly. I mean, I looked at the show reel you sent me, and the voice is lovely, of course. You've got a great thing going on there. And you're still, you've got youth on your side still. But I think it's really important at this point that you work out what it is you want to get from what you're doing. So, for example, the show reel you sent me was of some fairly easy listening sort of music, which is not taxing, as we know, for classical singers. So I'm assuming that this is just like a part, as you say, of your portfolio. But you have other desires to do classical music too?
Yes.
Yeah?
I'd love at some point to be performing live to a larger audience, hopefully in an opera. I really want to know how to go about that and the right people to meet as well. And if I stuck with my tutoring for a few years from now, I'd hopefully be at that stage. Yeah,
I think that's important because, I mean, you have to learn. You never stop learning, basically, because, of course, you're a living human being and your voice is changing and all those sorts of things. We're all maturing, and so bits of us change, if you see what I mean. So you can't always assume that anything stays the same, not even in your head, how you're thinking about things and how you're presenting things. I wanted to do this interview with you because, I think it's a cracking idea that you've launched your own website. It takes a lot of guts to just do that thing. And then, of course, the hardest thing is just maintain your momentum, and that was partly why I wanted to do a little bit of a feature to give it an extra.
Yeah, it has. It really has. To know that I can sit here and talk to you about it, it makes me feel like I want to go out and do more and develop it further.
And I think it's really important to get the handle on it and say, I really am doing this, folks. I do this, and I do it well. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, well, thank you for your time and your busy lunchtime.
Don't be silly, it's been a pleasure. Thank you,
Okay,
Gillian.
it's great to see you.
You too. Thank you.